Oh, can you all hear me? Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. So we've been talking about the IIBA. The IIBA divided business analysis. Okay, Andrew, you have your hand raised?
No, I just want to tell you that I can see your screen. So
Okay,
it's not
good, no
raised.
problem.
No.
No, that's fine. So the IIBA divided business analysis into 6 knowledge areas. So these 6 knowledge areas are what they feel that if you know, then you are an expert business analyst. Right? So anyone who calls themselves a senior business analyst should know these 6 knowledge areas. A junior business analyst can make do with 4 of them: business analysis, planning and monitoring, elicitation and collaboration, requirement lifecycle management, and requirement analysis and design definition. So a junior business analyst does not need strategy analysis or solution evaluation. Right. We'll be looking at all these 6 knowledge areas in this course. So today, we're talking about strategy analysis. Strategy analysis happens in the conception phase. So in the beginning of the project, and we talked about that yesterday. We said business analysis, the software development lifecycle for a business analyst starts in the conception phase. So the conception phase is where you are planning, where you identify the problem or the opportunity you want to capitalize on. That's where strategy analysis occurs. Now, a typical software development lifecycle will not have conception phase. Right? That's just something business analysts added. Even if you are using Agile, right? Not just the waterfall model, because you may be looking at the examples I'm giving and say, this looks like the waterfall you showed us, right? Even if you are using Agile, there's a conception phase, that part of the project where the project hasn't started. You don't even know if there will be a project or not. You are just thinking, how do we move our organization forward, or how do we solve a problem, right? And usually it's the leaders of the organization that will be involved in that aspect. So whether it's agile approach you're using, whether it's waterfall, it doesn't matter. There's a conception phase that would start the whole project, that will start the whole software development or solution development life cycle. So the conception phase is where the SDLC starts, right? You expect senior BAs to handle this phase, right? This is where the business need or problem is evaluated. So this is the point where we evaluate the business need, where we look at the need and check if it's really a need or just somebody's thinking that is not grounded in fact, right? So the BA's role in this space, because again, the BA may not be a part of the C-suite executives. When I say C-suite executives, I'm talking about the CEO, the CTO, the chief financial officer, all those kind of people, right? The leaders of the organization. The senior business analyst or director of product management or whatever title the BA is bearing in that organization may not be a part of them. But what does the BA do? The BA's role is to develop the problem statement. The BA role is to perform feasibility analysis. So develop the problem statement. That is, tease out the problem and convert it into written form so that everybody can understand the problem. Perform feasibility analysis. Check whether the problem we're even thinking about and the solution we're saying will solve that problem, whether it's feasible or not, whether that solution is realistic. or not. The BA's role will be to do option analysis. So to look at different ways we can solve the problem. What are the ways, right? You are thirsty. Some of you may want coffee. Some may say tea. Those are options. Some may say water will do, right? So the problem is we are thirsty. We have identified the problem. Now the solution can be different, can be of different forms. Some may say it's only beer that will do. Some will say it's only wine. Some will say it's soft drink. Those are solution options, right? So the BA prepares to identify the solution, then presents it to these C-suite executives, to these leaders to decide, right? So the BA does option analysis, and we'll look at all this, right? But just to drill more on what option analysis means, you identify all the possible solutions and you compare them, right? And present the result to management so that they can decide on what is best based on your guidance. The BA does impact analysis. So impact, if we do this solution, if we choose this solution option, this is what will be affected. This is how it will affect our organization. Right? This is what we need to change if we decide to take this route. All right, so you are thirsty. Instead of taking water, you decide to take beer. Well, the impact is that you may get drunk, right? So impact analysis. So if we take this solution option, these are the things that can happen. The BA would also do cost benefit analysis, right? Comparing the benefit of the solution with the cost. So the benefit of each solution. So we can call that solution option, the benefit of each solution option with the cost of the solution option. To do this, right, to be involved in strategy analysis, to be able to sit in this space where you are supposed to help identify different options, identify the problem itself, there is a need for creative thinking. There is a need to break away from the status quo, to challenge the way things are done in an organization. Right? So you are in an organization, usually there will be a way they already do things. A BA that will thrive in strategy analysis is someone that can say, why? Why are we doing this? Why have we been doing it this way? What if we change it? What would happen? It has to be a BA that can see things from a different perspective. Now, there's a common story that many of us may be familiar with, but I will still say it anyways. It's a story about a lab experiment conducted by some scientists several years ago involving monkeys. So they put 3 monkeys in a cage. And even though the monkeys were fed at regular intervals, so maybe breakfast, lunch, supper, the scientists in between meals sometimes will place fruit outside the cage. Then anytime one of the monkeys want to reach for that fruit, they will spray the monkey with very cold water. Very cold water. So the monkeys quickly learned that reaching for the fruit means you get very, very cold water sprayed on you. Those monkeys learn not to reach for the fruit. Can everyone mute themselves, please? So those monkeys learned not to reach for the fruit, the 3 monkeys in the cage. Every time any one of them tries to get a grape or the banana hung outside their cage, cold water is sprinkled on them. Now, the scientists continue to do this for a while till the monkeys don't even go for the fruit anymore. Then they changed one of the monkeys. They brought in a new monkey into the cage. And the new guy in the cage, the new monkey, The first time he saw fruit outside, he tried to reach for it. As he stretched his hands and tried to move forward, the other two monkeys pulled this monkey back. Come back here. We don't know what they said, but at least the new monkey learned, don't go near the fruit. And then the new monkey learned not to go near that fruit no matter what. The scientists continued that experiment until they started switching out the monkeys one at a time. So now they removed another monkey. It was just one of the original monkeys that have experienced the sprinkling that was in the cage, two new monkeys. And the two new monkeys learned the same thing, don't go near the fruit. They eventually switched out all the monkeys. And all the monkeys in the cage were now new monkeys, yet none of them will go near fruits hung outside. The moral of this story is, even though these monkeys have never experienced the pain or the hardship that comes with reaching out for the fruit, they just stopped based on stories they have heard, based on the tradition of not going near fruit hung outside. None of them stopped to ask, why are we even getting sprinkled or sprayed with water? Is there something we can do differently? Even though they have never experienced it, they just learned from the previous set of monkeys and stopped going after fruit. Someone who is a business analyst, who will perform strategy analysis, has to be someone that can challenge the status quo, that can say, why? Explain it to me. Why are we doing this? Because organizational culture gets formed by people passing on knowledge with incomplete knowledge, passing on culture, passing on traditions that are unfounded. Because someone had a bad experience with something, they will say, don't try it, because they had a bad experience. And that culture continues to perpetuate. A business analyst is someone that should see things from a fresh perspective and ask these creative thinking questions. What if we come up with a way where one of us reaches for the fruit and the other one blocks the water, so at least we still end up with the fruit at the at the end of the day? So yes, one of us suffers, but we still end up with this fruit. What if we go for the fruit at a different time? Right. So a business analyst is someone that can come up with these different type of thinking and thought patterns to question the status quo and make sure that the goals of an organization gets achieved. So I want us to quickly watch this creative thinking video and get a sense of what creative thinking means and how we can begin to apply it as aspiring business analysts.
How to improve your creative thinking. Tony Bazan is a leading expert on the brain and learning and inventor of the revolutionary mind mapping technique. Through his work
I'm not sure we can hear the video.
So you can't hear the video, right?
No, no one can.
Through his work in the media, Tony aims to educate the world in how to use the brain more effectively. Tony believes that everyone
Tony
Okay,
Bazan is a
should be
leading
better
expert
now.
on the brain and learning and inventor of the
Yeah,
revolutionary mind
thank
mapping technique. Through his work in the media, Tony aims to educate the world in how to use the brain more effectively. Tony believes that everyone has the potential to be creative. And in this film, he talks about how you can find and develop your inner creativity. Step 1. Everyone is creative.
First, I want to dispel the notion that anyone, anywhere, could be not creative. We have a million brain cells, and they all integrate. Now, anybody with a piece of equipment like that who says, I'm not creative, is obviously making a mistake. What has happened is that they haven't been taught how to use that phenomenal piece of equipment.
Step 2. The left and right brain.
As we know, the left deals with words and numbers and lists and logic and analysis, and the right brain deals with rhythm and color and shape and form and imagination and daydreaming. It has been thought that creativity was right-brained, and because we've misanalyzed that, creativity has therefore been majorly damaged when it needs to use both sides and get the order and the number and the image and the color and the rhythm and the imagination and the daydreaming all working together. That is creativity.
Step 3. Speed of thought.
Speed of thinking. It's called fluency. How fast, how rapidly can you generate ideas? And that you can develop by just playing at it. You can practice thinking faster. You can practice, getting those little puzzles and working them out faster. And faster speed and that kind of productivity is one of the hallmarks of creative genius.
Step 4. Originality of thought.
If someone says, what could you use a coat hanger for? And you answer, for hanging a coat. That would not get you high points in creativity. If you said you could use it to fuel a rocket ship to the moon by taking the constituent molecules of that particular coat hanger and converting it into some kind of fuel, that's way out. That's what is known as thinking out of the box.
Step 5. Flexibility of thought.
Most people tend to focus on one way. This is the way I think. This is the way I see that. When it should be, how many ways can I see this from? How many perspectives can I look at it from? And the great creative thinkers play with looking at different perspectives.
Step 6. Imagination and association.
All great creative thinkers are using their imagination. What they are doing in addition to that is they're making links between things, so they are associating. So it's imagination and association, the two big key words for creativity. And what you have to do when you are being creative is to find those associations and connections between things that are going to create something new.
Okay. So please feel free to unmute. I want to ask a quick question. What did you learn from that video about creativity?
Thinking outside the box.
Sorry, what?
Thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the norm.
Okay, good. So thinking outside the box, okay? Anyone else?
Everybody's creative.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of one developing it. When we're growing up, we feel some people are not creative. So in this video is I really see that stated that everybody's creative just for matter of developing it.
Exactly. So everyone is creative, and everyone can be creative if you develop it, if you are willing to open your mind. I agree that there's no one perspective to things, right? See things from multiple perspectives, practice creative thinking. Good. Any other view? Any other view? Please feel free to talk. We have 3 months or so together, so you have to feel free to communicate, share your views. It's an interactive section. Sorry, what? Practice, practice, practice. Exactly. So you need to practice creative thinking. Okay. So let's quickly do this 2 minutes creative thinking exercise. So again, get a piece of paper, draw these 9 dots, and using 4 straight lines or fewer, right? So meaning 4 lines or less, connect all the 9 dots without retracing your path or lifting your pen off the paper. So use 4 straight lines or less. Connect all these 9 dots without retracing your path. Sorry, what? What did you say?
It's okay. Please ignore.
Where do we send it to when we're done?
You can send it to sean@technesta.us. Or if you want, you can upload it to the WhatsApp group. But if you send it to Technesta, of course, I get it straight.
Okay.
So I'll put the email in the link. So I've put the instructions in the chat. One minute more. Okay, Tosin, I see yours. Okay, it's time. Who has been able to do it? Have we all done it? So if you've done it, send an email or put it in the WhatsApp group if you want. So let me show you the solution.
Thinking outside the box. This is perhaps.
Did anyone get that?
No.
Why do you think you didn't get it?
We didn't think outside the dots.
So there was nothing in the instruction that said there's a box there. But most of us will stick within the 9 dots and try to connect these 9 dots using 3 or 4 lines. The only way to do it is to go outside the 9 dots. So most of us place this imaginary box in front of ourselves. Even though there's no box in the diagram or in the image, it's just 9 dots. Most of us will stick to one imaginary box that we've created for ourselves. And as long as you are sticking to that box, you can't connect the dots. This person used 4 lines. It can actually be done in 3 lines, using 3 lines. But you must go outside the box. Again, as it is in business analysis, that's how it is in real life. Many times, solution to problems involve going outside the box.
Perhaps one of the most.
So, business analysis activities in the conception phase involves strategy analysis. Strategy analysis is where the leaders of the organization, the C-suite executives, and the business analysts identifies business opportunities. It's where the business analyst determines the optimum project investment path for the enterprise, the best way to invest the enterprise's resources. Resources can mean human capital, money, time, right? So this is the phase where the business analyst, working with the leaders of the organization, comes up with the best way to use the organization's resources to accomplish the organization's goals. And many times this involves, of course, technical solutions. The business analyst mainly deals with technical solutions, information systems, business process, people, and IT. So strategy essentially means the most effective way to apply the capabilities of an enterprise in order to reach a desired set of goals or objectives. The most effective meaning there may be different ways. But what the business analyst is doing in that space is they are trying to figure out the best way to solve the organization's problems or capitalize on the opportunities the organization has. What occurs here is the business requirement for future projects and future investments are identified and documented. The requirements for a project that will happen in the future, the business analyst identifies them and documents them. The business requirements are defined, but at a high level. So the problem the organization wants to solve, it's defined at this stage, but at a high level, meaning we don't know all the details of how we'll solve this problem yet, but we have an idea of what the problem is. At least we have identified the problem, but we have an idea of what the solution looks like. We don't know how we'll solve the problem, but this is the phase where we iron out and identify the problem itself. Then we have a superficial view of the solution, just a surface view. We have an idea. And that high level business requirement is what we refer to as goals. That high level idea of the solution forms the business goal. And I'll talk about this some more later. But this is the point where the business analyst investigates activities to determine why a project is being requested and how we will determine if that project is successful. So this is where the business analyst will ask questions from the leaders when they are requesting a project. The business analyst will ask them key questions to identify why they are requesting this project. Is this project really important? Will it really bring the value that business needs? And how will we even know if the project is successful? So there are 5 things that happen in the strategy analysis phase or conception phase during strategy analysis. The BA defines the business need, and I will talk more about that. The BA defines the business need, working with this leadership of an organization. The BA assesses capability gap. Then the BA determines solution approach. And after doing that, the BA defines the solution scope and all that goes into making a business case for the solution. The BA takes these first 4 steps to make a business case. So the goal or the work product, the result of this strategy analysis of this conception phase is a business case. That business case will contain the business need, contain all the analysis about capability gap and solution options and all those things, or everything the business analyst produces from each of these 4 stages will go into the, business case. And once that business case is signed or is approved, then the project commences. So this is pre-project. Conception phase is pre-project. So let's take it one step at a time now and start looking at how the BA will define business need. What is business need? The business need is simply the problem that the organization wants to solve or the opportunity it wants to take advantage of. It's not complicated. The business need is a problem that an organization or a business wants to solve or an opportunity it wants to take advantage of. From the business need, you can start guessing at the solution. You can start identifying possible solutions. If you define the business need well, you can identify good solutions. If you don't define the right business need, it means the solution you will come up with have a high chance of being nonsensical, of being useless. So since this is where everything begins, it is wise to think of this as the most critical part of the whole system solutions development life cycle. Because if you are solving the wrong problem, if you don't identify the real problem and you go to solve a symptom, the organization may end up losing its life. It's just like somebody who goes to a doctor and the doctor diagnoses the symptom. Oh, you're having a headache, you're not sleeping well, and does not get to the real problem that may be causing the incessant, the continuous headache, migraine or something, right? And the doctor just focuses on the migraine. Oh, go and take Tylenol, plenty Tylenol, and does not consider what may be causing the problem. The doctor may successfully resolve the symptom, but that patient may end up very, very worse off because of something else, because of the real cause. So this is where everything begins. And a business analyst at this point, in this kind of space where leaders are thinking of what the problem is and what the solution can be, that business analyst has to be sharp, has to embody all those things we talked about yesterday, the behavioral characteristics, listening without an agenda, asking questions, never assuming anything. Let's see an example. I will call on someone to read for me now. Taiwo, please, can you read this for me? Just start from here. Hello, is Taiwo there? Is Taiwo there? I guess not. Okay. I think, oh, they were locked out. So, Andrew, please, can you read this for me? Just starting from where the red mark is to the where it stops.
Okay. Business decisions are frequently flawed. One study of corporate mergers and acquisition, some of the highest stakes decisions as executive make shows that 83% fail to create any value for stakeholders. When another research team asks 2,207 executives to evaluate decisions in their organizations, 60% of the executives reported that bad decisions were about as frequent as good ones.
So what you can see from here, this is from a textbook, a research book. I just took it and said, I need to show you guys. What you can see from here is that many of the decisions organizations made, big business leaders make, are wrong. So the problems they say they want to solve end up not adding any. They failed, 83% of them failed to create any value for shareholders. So you see why a business analyst with strategy analysis skill is needed. These business executives, regardless of what they have studied, regardless of their background, they come up with ideas of what they think will help their organization make progress. But many times, more often than not, those ideas end up producing no value. They are useless. They are dead on arrival. But unfortunately, the organization will have expended resources, spent millions of dollars on these wrong ideas. And that's why strategy analysis is important. So you don't spend years or months. You don't spend resources. You don't spend money paying different developers, designers, and everyone, just doing what no one will use. Nonsense. So let's look at the techniques for defining business need. Everything starts from even identifying the business need and defining it. So the business analysis role, the business analyst job is to identify the need and define it. Define just means spell it out, write it clearly so that everybody can see it and understand it. Trace out the need and write it out clearly. That's what the business analyst does here. That's the first step. And there are different ways to do that. One way is benchmarking, right? So benchmarking is something all of us have done. Forget the big name. All of us have done it. If you want to buy a car, sometimes some of us will, maybe we see our friend driving one car. We say, I like this, your car. You look at the color, you look at the seat. I like this leather seat. You look at the different parts of the car. Say, I like this, I like this. And that becomes your benchmark when you want to buy your own. You'll be comparing it to that one. I really like leather seat because I saw it in that my friend's car. I like when I sat down on it, I like how it felt. That becomes your benchmark, something you use to compare other things to. That's the simple meaning of benchmarking. You make one thing a standard and you compare other things to it. So because you like some things about your friend's car, it may be your friend's house. It may be some of us women that will go to our friend's house and we see their kitchen. I like the color, the way they painted the kitchen. I like the way they hung the pots and plates and the way everything is arranged. And you are dreaming. That has become your benchmark, that when you have your own property or when you have the resources to do something like that, the minimum is it should be like that. It should be like that, your friend zone. That's benchmarking. So one way to identify business need is to compare how you are doing something in your organization to how another organization that is successful is doing it. So you look at that other organization, that other successful organization, you see what they are doing and you compare it with what you are doing so that you can identify the differences. Okay, so maybe if we did these other things, so maybe if we added this other thing to our product, maybe our product will be better. So the business analyst will go and investigate what the other organization is doing. Another way to generate or to identify business need is brainstorming. Brainstorming, again, is something we all do. Those of us with children, or those of at least everybody else from a family, you would have had a situation where you say, so what do you want to eat for dinner? That's brainstorming. Everybody will start rice or beans or chicken. Most people don't say beans, but you get plantain, different things, right? That's brainstorming. And you start thinking which one will be better, which one will be easier. So you're brainstorming with your family to identify how to solve the problem of hunger, right? What to cook. The need in this case is what to cook. Maybe you are the mother of the house. So that's brainstorming. And the same way in organizations, you can put people together, the key stakeholders. So the people that will be affected by a change or the people that need the change to happen, the people that are causing it to happen. You can put them in a room and ask them questions. And through those questions, you get an idea of the need of the business. So brainstorming is another way. Then you can do business rules analysis. Business rules analysis is where you look at the policies or the guidelines of the organization if it's documented somewhere. And you try to understand those rules and see if the organization is moving away from it in any way. And that will help you identify what you need to fix in the organization. You can do focus groups. Focus group is where you gather a group of people together and maybe your organization is producing something. You give them a sample of it and ask them what they think. Many of you, if you want to start a business or if you want to start producing something, maybe you want to start baking something, you make a sample and give it to the people close to you and ask them what they think, and they'll give you feedback. That's focus group. So the same way in organizations, you can do focus group. You gather neutral people together, or people that you feel are relevant to what you are testing. So people that may consume what you are testing, people that may use it, maybe potential customers, or just regular people, your target market. You sit them down, maybe 5 of them, maybe 7 of them, and you show them the product or a sample of the product, and you ask them questions. That's focus group. So who hasn't done focus group before? Who hasn't or done brainstorming before? Is there anybody in this room that has never that in this class that has not done brainstorming before? You have never wondered with your friend about what movie to watch, or what food to eat, or where to go on a Friday or Saturday? I'm sure there's no one here. Andrew said he hasn't done it before. Mr. Andrew, are you saying?
No, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Actually differentiate between brainstorming and focus group. These are the focus group is those technical people, or maybe sample the product or something, or do the discussion with people that are skilled like experts, and the brainstorming is just the general employee people in the company. So I just wanted to just differentiate between the people the people that will be in the group for brainstorming and the focus group. So they look almost similar. Thank you.
Okay, good question. So brainstorming, focus group, they are both workshops that you can do, right, to get feedback or ideas. Brainstorming on one hand means you don't really know where the thing is going. You don't know where maybe the problem is, or you basically don't have any idea. You want to elicit, you want to get the ideas from the crowd, right? Nobody has a solution at hand. You want to get the idea from the crowd afresh. You use focus group. So for brainstorming, in this case, you will invite, again, the stakeholders, the key people that will be affected, right? You invite the key people that will be affected by the change you want to do and ask them questions. So what food should we eat? Or rice or beans? You don't necessarily maybe have anything in mind. So you are trying to get from them what they would like to eat. Now, with focus group, usually you go with a focus group when you have an idea in mind and you want to rub minds with the crowd to get a sense of whether your idea makes sense. What do they think about your idea? So in this case, you have flexibility over the population, the people you choose. You choose specific people that you think would maybe use the product or be affected by the idea. You are not trying to generate idea from scratch. You are trying to maybe modify the idea you have. So you go to them usually with a prototype or something, right? Something in mind. So politicians use focus group. The political parties, especially when they hire researchers, they use focus group. They will gather people that they feel are part of their target demography, the kind of people that can vote for them, or the kind of people they think are not voting for them. They'll gather them in a room. So you see, focus group, we know the kind of people we want. Either the kind of people in this case that are voting for us, or the kind of people that are not voting for us. Then we'll present our candidate. So we already have an idea in mind. Our candidate, we'll present him to them, maybe his picture. We'll now say, maybe you should watch a short clip about this candidate. So what is this candidate doing that you don't like? Say we notice that women are not voting for Emilokon. We can put his picture there and say, what is this person doing that you don't like? And people will say, it's because he said Emilokon. It's because he's old, right? Then you start getting this feedback, and you can now use that to come up with a strategy to making more sellable to the general population, to people in that target group. But brainstorming is where maybe you gather other politicians together, experts in the area, not regular people, not focus group. Right? The focus group may be regular people, may be experts, depending on what your target is. But brainstorming is the people internally that will be affected. So for focus group, it may be external people, right? This one, internally, that will be affected. And you say, oh, people, who should we bring up as candidates? So we don't have a solution yet. Who should we put down as our candidate for this party? And everybody starts suggesting, okay, let's bring this person, let's bring that one. And you start writing the ideas on the board. I will go more into brainstorming. In fact, in this, before the end of this week, there is a brainstorming exercise that you will do, right? Because brainstorming is important. Many times you will be brainstorming as a BA, right? So especially if you are in that space where you need to elicit requirement, you may need to brainstorm. Sometimes even just within you and your line manager, your OGA, right, or the people, your other BAs you are working with, you may brainstorm with them. How do we solve this problem, right? Like, what we don't have any idea yet. So what do we do? Suggest, everybody suggest, and then you take all the suggestions. But focus group is you have a focus, and you choose a group that you think can help you answer the questions concerning that focus. I hope this has helped.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go into functional decomposition. That's another strategy you can use to define business need. Functional decomposition just means you take a big thing, a big task, and you break it down into small bits. And then you start doing it bit by bit. You take a big task, you break it down into small chunks, and you do it chunk by chunk, small bit by bit. So to the ladies who make soup here, I'm sure nobody just takes raw tomato and pour it inside pot and put oil and start mixing or something and then start grinding it inside the pot there. You take the task of making soup, you break it into small chunks. Okay, let's first get tomatoes, let's wash it, let's do this. Let's prepare, maybe boil the tomatoes for those who boil. Let's make the oil separately. You already get a sense that I don't cook a lot, but you are getting the gist. You break the task into small chunks and you do it. So in some cases, some people will boil the meat separately, right? And then at the end, you mix everything together and soup appears. And we men can just eat the soup, right? We don't want functionally decomposed meal to come to the table. We want the whole, right? But the women will break it into bits, right? And do it separately. That's functional decomposition. You take a big problem, you break it into small bits. That's one way to define a business need. And you start identifying which one is not a problem and which one have we solved. And through that, you can narrow down into the one that is the real issue for you. Then lastly, the one that is not common that we may not have done, but the most important is root cause analysis. Root cause analysis entails determining the underlying source of a problem. That's what you want to do in root cause. You want to understand the real reason behind the problem, not the problem people are telling you is the problem, but the real problem, the one underneath that even they may not know is the problem. That's the one you want to fish out. This is the most powerful tool here for a business analyst. The other things are things you do every day, one way or the other, right, that you have done before. But root cause analysis is the most powerful tool, and we'll delve deeper into it. So let's look at the ways you can do root cause analysis. One way is what we call the 5 whys. So the 5 whys is that you continue to ask why as many times as possible till you get to the root cause. It's called the 5 why. It doesn't mean it's only 5 whys you would use. You may get to the root cause after asking 2 whys. In some cases, it may take 7 why. But for the sake of sanity, we have called it the 5 why method. And the goal here is you want to make sure you are not solving symptoms, you are solving the actual problem. Now, it's not for our example, right? We'll just look at it as somebody presents a problem to you. You ask, why? Why is that happening? And the person tells you their reason. You ask them why again. And the person tells you their reason. And you continue to drill down that way till there's no more new information coming out, till the thing becomes circuitous. That means you are now going in circle. That's when you know you have gotten to the real problem. And you'll find in many cases, business leaders will come, they will tell you a problem. But when you drill down, you find that that's not the real problem. So if you have spent money on what they said the problem is, you will have just wasted resources, which is what happens in these strategy rooms, in these conception phases. People will just come up with brilliant ideas. They heard on the news that their neighbor is doing something. They too will come to their company and say, why not let us too do it? And the psychophants in there, everybody, yes, or people who don't know better. But if there's a business analyst in the room to say, okay, that sounds very good, but why? Why are we doing it? And the Oga has to explain, which is your job. Right? That sounds like a brilliant idea, but why? And you drill down. At the end of the day, you're left with the real problem. And the real problem may take less resource to solve than the problem they thought was the problem. So let's see an example of this 5 why. Let's assume that the chief of finance comes to this strategy meeting where you are sitting as a senior BA, as the chief BA, right? And the chief of finance says, you know, I know as an organization we have been making money, but there's a problem that we have to solve now, and it will cost us 20 million. Mr. CEO, I need us to sign this check. It's urgent, and let's get it done. And then the CEO says, what is the problem, Chief Financial Officer, sir? He says, the problem is our computers are breaking down in my department. Right? The computers are breaking down and they are slowing down our productivity. And you know we are very important to this organization. We are the money people. We need to resolve it immediately. Now, if you are the BA there, or if you are the CEO that has been a business analyst or that knows business analysis, the question will be, why are the computers breaking down? Okay? You ask, why? Okay? So now, we'll do it in an interactive way where you will be asking me the why so that I can give you the answers. So we can trace down to the root cause. Okay, so I am the CFO and I've said computers are breaking down at work and slowing down our productivity. So somebody can ask me why. Please unmute, let's discuss. Are we sleeping?
Why?
My sister. It's because the computers are very old and the software in them is not compatible with new systems that we work with. So it's your turn. So, sorry, I can't hear you.
Has anyone tried to upgrade the software?
Has anyone tried to do what?
Has anyone tried to upgrade the software?
Oh, thank you very much. Now, you see, we are trying to get to the root cause. what you have just said now is you are preferring solution. You don't prefer solution till you get to the root cause. You have just assumed that the solution is because no one has tried to update the software. You don't assume. So you want to get to the real heart of the matter. I've told you that the computers are old. Stick to the 5 whys. What you should ask me in this case should align with still your why question. Don't prefer solution in any way till you get to the root cause.
Okay, let me try. So, why are the computers old? Or why is the software not compatible?
Oh,
you said we should ask why question.
Yes, yes, very good. So that's the kind of question you ask. Now, the source of the problem is what I've told you. I said the computers are breaking down. You said why? And I said because the computers are very old. Now, I've given you the problem. The computers are very old. The other things are just the result of the computers being old. So the first question is appropriate. Why are the computers very old? Then I will now answer and say, well, new computers and software have not been purchased. So your turn. So we're in a meeting. You are the BA. I'm the one.
Why
Sorry, what?
Why has new computers and software not been purchased?
Hey, good. So you are getting it now. So you ask me a question based on what I'm saying. Suspend your agenda. Don't talk about solution. You are trying to get to the bottom of the problem. So now you ask me, why have new computers and software not been purchased? And I'll tell you, it's because the IT budget is too small to support regular purchases and upgrades.
And why is the budget small?
Good question. Now, you see, if you had gone with the first one where I think someone said maybe that has anyone tried to, we won't have gotten to this budget place. We'll think, okay, let's deal with the symptom, which is the computers are old. But now we're tracing it down, we're getting to the truth of the matter. That is not that the computers, yes, that's the issue, but there's a reason now is because IT budget is too small. And you have asked, why is IT budget too small? I will now answer. Well, the thing is the manager in charge of IT has not made a case for budget increase. So your turn. Sorry, what?
Why has the manager not made a case?
Good. So you have caught the scope of the thing now. You follow what I'm saying, right? Suspend your own agenda. You want to listen to the stakeholder to get their problem. You are there to solve their problem, not what you think the problem is. So you have asked, why has the manager not made a case? Then I answer, the manager in charge of IT is new and has not been trained in management skills. So what do you do next?
And who goes for that say why is the manager the manager?
Sorry, what?
Why is the manager the new manager?
Okay, so what I said was the manager in charge of IT is new and has not been trained in management skills. Now, if you ask me, why is the manager in charge of IT new? Well, because he's new, right?
Why is the manager not trained?
Because he's new. So you see, we have gotten to the point where we can't go further. So you don't need to ask why again. You have gotten to the root of the matter. So the problem is that our manager has not been trained. So if you say, why has he didn't be trained? Because he's new. Why is he new? Well, it doesn't provide any new information. Bottom line is he's new. We just hired him. So at this point, the key thing there is the manager has not been trained. So the solution then is let's train the manager so that we don't solve the symptom and next time something worse will happen. Let's train the manager so that he can start asking for budget increase so that our finance system will not crash midway any other time because of old computers. So I've got into the root cause now. So now let's try an example. Another one. This one will be an exercise now that you will do. So if I come to you in a meeting and say, we're in the same meeting after we have solved the manager's case, right? And I'll come to you, I say, I need a Ferrari. I am the chief technical officer. And my own problem and the solution to my problem is I need a Ferrari. So you use the 5 why now. I'm waiting for someone to ask me questions with the 5 why.
What do you need a Ferrari?
A Ferrari.
Oh, thank you. Well, I need to drive fast because every morning I get into traffic and I need to be at the office on time.
Why do you need to stay in the office on time?
Well, because for the past 2 months, I've been getting to work late. And my manager has said one more occurrence and I'm out.
Why have you been getting to work late for the past 2 months?
Why have I been getting to work late for the past 2 months? Is that the question? I've told you the problem that pertains to our business. Now that question leads to a solution. Okay, if I say, why have I been getting to work late? Okay, you sleep. Okay, wake up early, right? I've been getting to work late because there's traffic. I answered that. I said, I need to drive fast because every morning I get into traffic. So that's why I've been getting to work late. That's the first sentence. Because every morning I get into traffic and I need to be at the office on time. That was the first or second statement I made. So if you ask me again, why have you been getting to work late? We are going in circles now. So there's no more new information. I've told you the problem. The problem is for the past 2 months, I have been getting to work late and my manager has said one more occurrence and they will fire me.
Yeah, so, but must I finish the 5 whys?
No, that's what I'm trying to show you here, that we can get to the end of the issue in less than 5 whys, sometimes just 1 or 2 whys in some cases. But when you get to the point where the person has answered the questions already, there's nothing new you would get by adding one more why. So if you say, why do you want to get to work early? I've answered you because for the past 2 months, I've been getting to work late. And my manager has said one more occurrence and I'll be sacked. If you say, why have I been getting to work late? I've answered you. I say, because there's traffic. So there's no more why for you to use. So you should know you have gotten to the root cause. And the root cause is I have been getting to work late and my manager is threatening to fire me. So what that means is Ferrari is not the problem or necessarily the solution. So you may have just used money if you didn't have a business analyst asking this question, you may have used money to buy Ferrari for me and say, go and solve. But that won't solve the thing. Now we have gotten to another part of it. We have gotten to the end of it. At least we have understood that Ferrari is not the problem. The problem is this person gets to work late and his manager is threatening to fire him. We can now start unraveling, maybe counseling, not in the boardroom there, to understand why are you getting to work late? So what are our different solution options? Is Ferrari the only way? Maybe an alarm clock of $5 will solve the problem.
Or move closer to work.
Or move closer to work. You see, so there are many solution options. But what we want to do here is first arrive at the real problem. The real problem is for the past 2 months, this person has been getting to work late. It's not because he needs to drive fast. That's not the problem. It's not just traffic. That's not, the thing is, this person has been getting to work late. That's the real problem. And once we get there, we can now start analyzing and figuring out the best way to solve it. You can get to the end of the issue in less than 5 whys. It may be 2 whys, it may be 1 why. Andrew, you have a question?
I said, so I asked, I'm saying,
okay.
Is it also possible to exceed the 5 why?
Yes. So you continue to ask until you are not getting any new information. But one warning though, I've used these examples to show you how the 5 why would work. It is not expected that you will go to maybe a real requirement elicitation meeting, like this kind of place where you have leaders, right? And you just be saying, why? Why do you need to drive a Ferrari? Why do you need to go to work early? Why do you just be repeating what the person is saying? No, you have to make it conversational. So they won't even know that is why you are asking, right? Ferraris are very good cars. Oh, wow, yeah. I have a friend that has one, turbo engine. This is, but they drive very fast, you know. Why do you want to drive that fast? Yeah, they go 270 kilometers. Why do you want to go that fast? And the person will say, because every morning I get into traffic and I need to be at the office on time. You know, I say, oh, wow. You need to be at the office on time? Wow, traffic, terrible. Yeah, even my stop too, I get into traffic sometimes. It's just crazy. Yeah, you know, but you need to be at the office on time. Wow. Is there anything happening at the office? Yeah. I said, no, nothing happening in the morning. It's just that I've been getting to office late and my manager is saying they'll fire me. So that's how you blend the 5 why into your conversation, not just saying why. You know how 2 years old say why, and it becomes annoying to parents. You don't go and do that, right? So, where if you have all those kind of kids at home, they'll just say why, daddy, why this, and you answer and they say why. But that's the principle, because they are trying to get to the root cause, because they must learn, and you must be like that, but you won't ask like that. So another way to get to the root cause, and I know we started a bit, so I would quickly round off now after this technique, so we can continue tomorrow. Another strategy to get to the root cause, especially when there can be multiple causes, because in some cases, like the 5 why, as we have used it, we're assuming that there's one cause to the problem. But in some cases, as you are drilling down, you'll find that there are multiple causes. Some problems are just big, like political problems. Nigeria problem, for example, is big. You can't use 5 why. Even 5 million why may not get to the root cause. You may need a strategy that can accept multiple factors. Right? So when you have challenges that are dynamic, that there may be multiple causes, you need strategies like the Ishikawa, or what we call the fishbone diagram. it still uses something like the 5 why, but it has a structure to it. So there's already a structure. And just using it, you can trace out the cause of something, the sub-causes, and see how all those different causes and sub-causes cause the real problem. So it's called the fishbone diagram. It's from a Japanese person. So it's also called the Ishikawa diagram. Any name you call it is good. So it's called the fishbone diagram because, as you can see, the diagram looks like the skeleton of a fish, the bone of a fish. Now, the good thing about this technique, just like the 5 why, is that you don't need to memorize anything. Like the 5 why, once you know it, you have known it. If you are dealing with your spouse, don't just annoy them anyways. But if you are dealing, you can apply the 5 why technique strategically to get to the root cause of an issue. Maybe I don't want to go out. But they're expecting us now. Why don't you want to go out? And she says the reason, and you now look for another reason, another way to ask why. So she won't know you are using the 5 why, and you have gotten to the root cause. The root cause may just be sweet tooth. Maybe you didn't do something, or you didn't buy something. And once you solve that problem, every other thing is resolved. The 5 why technique, simple to remember, simple to use. Same with this one, you don't need to memorize anything. There's already a structure to it. So there's a list of possible causes. So categories of causes, right? And you just need to look at the problem you are dealing with and pick out the categories of causes or the specific cause that aligns with that problem, that relates to that problem, right? And then you fill out the fishbone with the factors that you are finding in your own part, in the problem you are trying to solve. Let me give you an example. So as you can see in this fishbone, there are already categories. It can be manpower. So the things causing problem maybe the method, maybe machine, maybe material, maybe mother nature, maybe measurement. So you now look at the issue you are trying to resolve. Are there manpower causes in there? You write them under manpower. Are there method or process causes in there? You write them under method. Are there machine or technological problem issues in the problem you are trying to solve? You write them under. Are there material? You write them under, and that's it. And at the end, you write the big problem in front, the mouth of the fish. So what you are saying is that all these factors are what together collectively are responsible for the big problem. You would have heard of cases where some organizations will have problems, they don't know how to solve it. They'll go and bring a consultant BA, maybe like you, very soon. And they'll pay them big money to come and identify and start trying to solve the problem for them. The consultant BA will just hide somewhere, draw this fishbone, and tell them, okay, tell me all the problem. You'll write all the problem down and start tracing from the statement they made. Start picking out which one is manpower there, which one is method problem, which one is technology, and we'll analyze and say, okay, so these are all, the problem you have is there's manpower issues, you have methodological problems, you have machine-related problems, and they'll say, wow, this consultant is so brilliant, he's so smart. Now, all these things you don't need to cram. They are available online. Just Google. The list is here too, right? So these are the possible categories of fishbone causes, right? Ishikawa diagram causes. So they are defined. It's nothing you need to cram. Just quickly Google it on your phone. Possible problem cause categories I need to give you: policies, procedure, people, technology, methods, material, environment, measurement, and machinery. So you already have all the possible categories that can cause problem. You just look at the story they are telling you, the problem they are telling you to have, that they have, and then you look at which of the issues they mention align with any of these. And those are the things you put in your fishbone. Then you put the full problem in front as the main problem. And then that way you have identified the causes and hopefully sub-causes. So let's see an example. The problem here is that this person is having blurry photos. Anytime they take a picture, it comes out blurry. So that becomes the key problem, the problem at the head of the fish, blurry photo. So we'll now go into the categories of causes we have in fishbone diagram. We see which one relates based on the story they are telling us, right? We say, okay, since they are talking about camera and taking pictures, which of these categories relate? We may say, okay, there's technology or hardware. It doesn't matter what you call it, machine, hardware, technology. There may be a process problem. There may be environment problem, right? So these are the things you now put as the causes in your fishbone. So you now start tracing, okay, hardware. Let's try to solve this blurry photo problem, you people in this organization. You have brought me in as a consultant. So let's see. But come, let's see hardware first. So I'll ask you a question. Is the lens you are using, have you checked it? Is it dirty? Did you people clean your lens recently? They will say yes. Okay, you wrote dirty lens. Okay, that's not a cause. You have marked it down. Are you using the right lens or the wrong lens? They say we use the right lens recommended by the manufacturer. What's it that? Wrong, you go to method. Are you using the right method to take the picture? Okay, wrong mode. Exposure. Are you using the right exposure when you are setting the thing? Is it correct? Is the picture always in focus, or do you just take it anytime? You know, so you keep probing based on these categories of possible causes, and at the end of the day, you may be able to identify the real cause that is causing the blurry photo problem. It may be that it's just shaky hands. Maybe it's the user that has a problem. Maybe it's that they are not following instruction. And they'll be happy you have solved their problem. But you have used this fishbone diagram with the structure that have already been provided to trace out possible problems and hopefully identify which ones are even critical. So for each of these now, you can use 5Y. Maybe when you're talking about hardware, just be asking them. So the hardware, you say the hardware, there's this why, and you are tracing it, and you get, okay, it's dirty lens, and you are using the wrong lens. That's the problem, and you don't jot that down. So this is another strategy when there is a complex problem to solve that may have multiple causes. Now, the 5Y is used when you assume there's a simple cause. There's a more complex version of the 5Y where you can be moving between causes, but that one is beyond the scope of what we are talking about here. So that is where you know you really want to use 5Y. Like you must use 5Y. You can't use this Ishikawa for whatever reason. Then you can go advanced level of 5Y. But the expectation is 5Y is used for simple or simpler problems. So this Ishikawa or fishbone, it already has the categories. Now, I'll round up by saying from this 5Y or Ishikawa, what you get as the problem is what you would now use to write a problem statement, or most preferably a business need, because it may not be a problem, it may be an opportunity, a business need. So a business need or problem statement is a concise, clear description of the issues that need to be addressed by a team, by a problem-solving team. So what you find after doing the 5Y or Ishikawa is what you would use to write this problem statement. The structure is simple, and I will share that with you. It's in the video here. You say the problem of dash 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 is affecting this stakeholder, the impact of which is dash dash dash. Then you talk about the solution. A successful solution will do this to address this problem. So the problem of dash dash dash. The example we gave, you say the problem of getting to work late is affecting my professor, the student, and the university. That is the Ferrari problem that we did together. The problem of getting to work late is affecting the professor, the student, and the university. The impact is the professor may lose his job. A successful solution will help the prof keep his job. This then becomes the business need. In this business need, you have the problem and a likely or an idea of the solution, right? What the solution will do. So the goal is what we'll call it, the business goal. So in the business need, you now know the goal. The goal is to find a solution that will help the prof keep his job. And you know the problem. So business need contains business problem and the goal, the business goal. So you use these strategies, 5Y, brainstorming, Ishikawa, all those strategies for functional decomposition and all that to find the real problem. And you use, when you find the problem, you write a problem statement or a business need. But that must also include hint of the solution. As a business analyst, once you are mentioning a problem, you shouldn't be mentioning a problem. If possible, you should be asking questions to find, where there are problems. But if you are mentioning problem, try to always profile likely solutions, give an idea. So the business need will contain problem and hint at a likely solution. So this is where we'll stop for tonight. Any questions? Any question?
None for me.
Okay. So are you clear on the Ishikawa diagram?
Quick one for the Ishikawa and the other one. What's it called now?
5Y.
The 5Ys. 1 second, let me mix the other. Give me 1 second. So one thing I realized for the 5Ys, so we're asking those Ys to be able to come to the root cause.
Yes.
To get to the problem.
Yes.
For the Ishikawa, now correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like we already found the problem before we start looking for the reasons why we had that problem.
Exactly. So in both cases, you are starting from what a stakeholder has told you the problem is.
Okay.
So a stakeholder will come and bring what they think is the problem. Then you use the technique to drill down and find the root cause, the real problem. So even in the Ishikawa, for this example, the stakeholder has told you that the problem is blurry photo, but maybe using hardware and all these categories, right? You have traced and drilled down and figured out that, no, the actual problem is that this stakeholder has shaky hands. And maybe the object they are taking is moving, they are trying to snap, is moving too fast. So you have found that there are 2 main causes. So those are the root 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 causes. not the blurry photo. The blurry photo is just a symptom of the stakeholder having shaky hands and the object they are trying to snap is moving too fast. So you are still doing the same thing as the 5Y. You are trying to arrive at the root cause. But the difference is for Ishikawa, you are expecting that there may be multiple causes. And you are using a framework to try and trace out what those causes are. But yes, they still tell you a problem. They tell you what they think is the problem. So does this answer your question?
It does.
So you don't use this till somebody tells you there's a problem. Okay, any other question? Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue from here, right? We now have gotten to the point where we understand how to drill down to get a business need. We know the meaning of a business need now. The problem the problem an organization is trying to solve, but everything cannot be problem, right? It may also be opportunity an organization is trying to capitalize on. That's the business need. But the statement of the business need must have the problem and must give us an idea of the solution or the goal towards solving the solution. The goal is high level, it's not clear, it's not specific, right? But at least we know what we want. We want to solve this problem. Right? So that's your business need. So tomorrow we'll continue from there. We'll distill into what business need is. We'll look at, again, problem and then go into all you need to know about business need and continue strategy analysis, the other part. Okay. Any question before I shut down?